Every night, the routine is the same. We slide the deadbolt into place, listening for the heavy mechanical click. That sound provides a sense of finality, acting as a signal that the world is shut out, even if that thin piece of brass is the only physical barrier standing between a private bedroom and a total stranger. When we sit in the dark, our minds usually drift toward the supernatural. We imagine ghosts or entities that can phase through walls. But the most grounded terror is entirely human. Ordinary people who decide to step across your threshold, uninvited and without a clear motive. We visualize our safety in layers: the wilderness, the city, and finally the home. Usually these boundaries work in sequence to keep the world at a distance. But when these zones fail, the buffer between the street and your bed disappears, and the outside world reaches the center of your life instantly. The following 3 events show how quickly those layers can fail, leaving victims to realize they are being hunted in the exact spaces they were told were safe. Isolation makes vulnerability easy to understand. On a dense Appalachian highway at 2 in the morning, the forest presses right up to the edge of the asphalt. The fog is often so thick that the world beyond your headlights effectively ceases to exist. A driver in this stretch of woods was forced to stop for a man standing in the middle of the lane. When the driver honked, the figure didn't move or speak. He simply turned his head and revealed a wide, unnatural smile. The threat escalated immediately. As the driver watched the man in the road, 3 more figures emerged from the tree line, fanning out to physically box the vehicle in from the sides and rear. With the road blocked in front, the driver had to throw the car into reverse and accelerate blindly backward through the fog, desperate to keep the car on the asphalt, while the figures chased the headlights into the dark. A lonely road makes the danger obvious. Most of us assume that density is a shield, that moving to a crowded city provides a layer of protection that the wilderness cannot offer. Take the 14th floor of a downtown corporate office at 11:30 p.m. The environment is entirely indoors and gated by badge swipe security. It feels insulated from the unpredictability of the street level. A late-night worker noticed the hallway motion sensors triggering, even though the floor was supposed to be empty. The overhead lights were turning on sequentially, one by one, moving down the corridor and converging directly on their desk. Suddenly, an internal phone extension rang. The caller ID showed the call originating from the empty cubicle directly behind the worker's chair. The worker picked up the receiver and heard nothing but the live, synchronized audio of their own nervous typing played back to them. They turned around to find a stranger crouching directly beneath the adjacent desk, holding a phone and smiling. The worker bolted for the emergency stairwell, fleeing the building and the supposed security of the high-rise. Proximity to thousands of neighbors is useless when a predator has already bypassed the physical security of the lobby, navigated the elevator banks, and breached your private workspace. The final retreat is the home, specifically a locked suburban house at 3 a.m., where a college student was asleep in an upstairs bedroom. They were woken by a sound coming from their bedside smart speaker. The device had been activated through its intercom feature, and it was broadcasting the sound of heavy, raspy breathing into the quiet room. The intercom log showed a direct digital link. Someone had manually triggered the speaker in the downstairs kitchen to broadcast a live feed to the second speaker located in the hallway, right outside the bedroom door. The student looked toward the hallway door. The dim light spilling through the bottom crack vanished as the dark shadow of heavy boots slid into place. Then the doorknob began to turn. With no other exits, the student leaped from the bed and threw their entire weight against the door, screaming until the intruder finally turned and ran back down the stairs and out of the house. In that moment, the final barrier between a sleeping person and a predator was reduced to an inch of hollow core wood. The perimeter had completely collapsed. These 3 incidents share a chilling commonality. None of the intruders were ever caught or identified, and in each case, nothing was stolen. These individuals weren't looking for property or money. Their only goal was the breach itself. Because they were never apprehended, they remain anonymous threats, operating on a logic that the victims will never understand. It forces a different perspective on your own environment. When you look at the shadows in the hall tonight, you have to consider the possibility that they are no longer empty and that your walls have already been bypassed. A locked door is a tool for time. It offers a few precious seconds of warning, a brief window to realize that the boundary is gone and that you are no longer alone.